I got a question for you.
Yes.
What happens when you take two former radio producers,
Okay.
program directors, and television executives and give them a podcast? Well,
Is this it?
well, it's kind of
Is
a
this what
loaded
happened?
question. It's a loaded question. You get the producer's podcast.
Yeah.
He's Tall Paul. Wait, damn it. He's Tall Paul Joseph.
You're pointing the wrong
The
way.
pointing thing is really difficult.
The pointing thing is different. See.
Right. Like if I want to go that anyway, he's Tall Paul Joseph.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Jack Silver, and this is the producer's podcast lucky episode 7, Paul.
Oh, roll the dice. This is a good episode.
I think they're going to really enjoy it, and if
I
they
think
don't,
so. I liked episode 6 a lot.
with
I thought
Commander
that was
Chuck
good.
Street.
Last week.
That was
Commander
very
Chuck
good.
Street commanding the airwaves.
Yes.
Flying this helicopter. That was fun.
Yeah, and we'll have more guests in the future, but I think we have to start out with a little congratulations are in order, Paul.
From who? Me?
Is it, talking to me?
Yeah.
No, you celebrated a milestone anniversary.
Wow.
Correct me
Last
if I'm
night.
wrong. Yeah.
Last night. And celebrating, you got to say celebrating these days because,
Right.
We did have my immediate family, my kids and me and my wife.
Yeah.
That's it. That's our celebrating of our Jack. I'm not afraid to say it, our 25th wedding anniversary.
25 glorious years. What were you married when you were about 16?
Well, here's the thing that is true about that. I took my wife to her prom. So, we've been together, so it's a good thing. So, I can still celebrate 25 and still be young. How about that?
Well, that's amazing.
That's the
Now,
lesson here.
by the way, look at this.
Yeah. Oh, there I am. Look at that.
How
On the
about
steps
that?
of, how about this? The Beverly Hills Hotel. Right
Yeah.
there. That's it. Look at me. I look like a James Bond jacket on.
You sure do. And here's the problem, Paul. You haven't aged. You got the good genetics, my brother.
Well, yeah. Thank you very much for saying that. And I know. I feel like people say that to me, and you can't take credit for that. Like you said, that's genetics.
But and before I have a question for you. But I have one other picture from that day.
Yeah.
That was you.
That was me.
Let's really dress this thing up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Now you're dressing it.
Now you're dressing it up.
My beautiful wife, and she still looks just like that.
She's another one who hasn't aged, and I think the real expression is she's so hot and so pretty, and you're handsome and everything. But I think you outkicked the coverage.
Oh. Thank you. Well,
yeah. Meaning you did a lot better than you probably could have done.
Yes.
Because she's just too hot for you, Paul.
No, and I'm first to admit it.
Okay.
I'm the first to admit it. But we kind of look like what you'd see on top of a cake, a wedding cake.
I know. It's like you guys are like that.
That's what that looks like.
You're that couple. Well, here's the question, real briefly. I'm on my second marriage. The first one, kind of a nightmare.
I think, too, if we add the years of the two marriages together, you might be to where I was.
That's about right. But how did you do it, or what advice? Forget the advice. How do you stay married for that long, and you guys are still happy, and you got a beautiful family? What are some of the what's the secret, Paul? What's the secret?
Separate bedrooms.
I'm
just kidding. No, you know what the secret is not making a big deal out of every day and just trying to laugh. The reason I married June is because she was a laugher. And I said, when I was dating, I would always go with girls, and if they weren't laughers, and if they didn't wake up in a good mood, you know how you wake up with people that aren't in good moods?
Oh, Lord knows.
Yeah, you know that. So that to me was my indicator. I wanted to wake up every day. I'm a laugher. I love to have fun and laugh. So I didn't want to be in a depressed mood every day because my partner maybe was or whatever. And I think for me, that was the key to it. But I think, you just have to wake up every day is a new day and have fun with it. And don't measure it too much. I don't like to measure things and talk about, all that, that the things that you measure, should be the amount that wedding cost me, if you want to measure something. Because that was terrible. Just that jacket alone.
Yeah.
I borrowed from James Bond.
That had a
lot of money.
Pretty penny.
Yeah.
Well, and I think too, on marriage number 2, I think it's kind of a cornball rule, but happy wife, happy life.
That's
I think
true.
that when you're smart and you find a girl who laughs, who's fun, and who you guys really get along, and you're actually good friends.
Yeah.
These marriages can last a long time, and congratulations to you and June.
Thank you.
on
And to you, you know, I know you're on your second. And by the way, I never miss a Jack Silver wedding because they are good.
well, well, they are blowouts.
Yeah, they are. They
And I
really
said
are. So,
on wedding number 2,
yeah.
I
But
get
you
married.
found a jewel. You don't have a picture over there, but you found a jewel.
You know, I don't have pictures. I was ready. I was prepared for your stuff. I didn't want to spoil it with my stuff, but
yeah,
I say I'd get married every Saturday night if I could have a party like I keep having on the 2 weddings I've had.
There you go. Yeah.
Right,
there you go. So that's good stuff. So yeah, we had fun. We just stayed home. You know what we did? We ordered food out.
Yeah.
And then they actually delivered it. We were going to go pick it up.
Yeah.
And then we just had like a little party, the pizza party and all that stuff. And it was kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, congratulations. And the beauty is you still have 2 beautiful kids that are at home, and you get to enjoy the family time. I think that's one of the side benefits of the COVID, is that it's keeping the family kind of a little closer together, and you can enjoy events like anniversaries and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, it's kind of nice. In fact, my son yesterday, my daughter, whom you know, Haley, is in the middle of constructing a lot of writing songs, and
oh wow,
she's got a producer and they're producing. I mean, the music sounds great. But yesterday, my son, who's younger, said, looked at her and said, "Aren't you ever going to get married?" You know, and she said, "No, I don't want to get married." You know.
Does she want to leave the house at any point? Or
no, you know, that's the beauty of it. I love that. You know, you can't, as a father, you can't say that, but I love the fact that she's so happy here. She's not anxious to pack up and go somewhere else. You know what I mean? She's enjoying life here. She's creating every day.
Yeah.
She has her own thing going on. I never know what's going on in her room or out in the backyard. She's always on camera, and she's always fantastic. So I think for kids in general, the COVID, coupled with obviously social media, where you can do everything from your house, including make a album, is perfect these days. So yeah, why leave and put all that stress of trying to pay rent and
sure. But as we transition to our next topic, my kids couldn't wait to get out of the house. They were gone, and you know, as soon as they got the car keys at 16.
You have great kids.
I
love your boys.
Yeah, thank you. They couldn't wait to get away from Dad, but I see him from time. You know, I actually get to see him a little bit.
Well, I think for you, if you don't mind me saying, you're a very regimented person.
Oh, well, what makes you say that? Because I'm a checklist person. I do everything the same every day. I eat the same.
The fact that you're running the timer on this show right now.
In fact, Paul, we're over the limit on the wedding thing.
But maybe that's why they wanted to, you know, because you want to have dinner at 5:30, not 5:31 or
That's
whatever.
a little late, but okay.
Yeah, it's a little late for you. So kids, I think when you're like that,
they
kind of go, you know, maybe it's time to fly the coop.
Yeah, and I don't mind it, whether if they stay here or go. Parents, you always want your children to be independent, and then all of a sudden, when they are independent, people freak out. I don't. I'm happy for them. And lastly, I didn't party with my mom and dad.
No?
No. As it turned out, I did not. But some people do, like your kids party with you.
Yeah.
That's cool, and that's appreciated.
Yeah.
And it's really a sign that you and June, after all those years of marriage, the kids really understand it's a loving house.
Yeah.
And we need more of that, where everyone shows a little love for the kids.
I think so. Kids.
Okay. Well, that was a
nice segment.
That was very spiritual.
Yes. Yeah.
I liked it.
But coming up next,
what train wreck? What train wreck?
Well, you know, talking about houses and parties and all that stuff.
Okay.
And Jake Paul, I wanted to bring him up because he's such a huge influencer on social media.
This guy?
That guy, YouTuber, actually started out as a Disney star.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but jumped with his brother to doing outlandish videos and all this stuff. Well, sometimes outlandish videos and all that gets you to the other side of the screen.
Yeah.
Police raiding your huge house. And even though he's made a fortune, you know, he's collecting guns. You know, some say that there's drugs and stuff going on there. Certainly there's these huge parties which are illegal now.
Yeah.
But he's doing these parties and without masks. And so
like I told you, Paul, when we were preparing for the show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know Jake Paul if he hit me in the private area. Seriously. Okay. If he walked in the room right now, a blow to the groin. I'd say, "Who are you?" He'd say, "Jake Paul." I go, "Well, Jake, I don't know who you are, but hey,
Get out of my groin.
A, thanks for stopping by, and B, stop with the groin smacking." But I did the research,
Yeah.
and again, these YouTube influencers, you know, they're making a boatload of money.
Yes.
Lord knows, living up there in Calabasas, you know, with the Biebers and the other people who live in that area.
Yeah. Kardashian.
And all that is fine. I have no problem with that. But here's what I have a problem with. When you start collecting cache of guns,
Cachet,
rifles,
yes.
or whatever the word is, I don't even know.
Cachet.
Cachet of guns. How about this? You got a boatload of guns in your house, and you're starting. It looks like you're in trouble. Oh, and forget all that. When the FBI comes to your house and raids the joint,
yeah,
they're not doing that because they got nothing else to do.
No.
So
yeah,
you know what it is, Paul. Sometimes you know on the outside people look Disney-like or you know, YouTube guy or kind of wacky, you know, jackass type of guy, and then you pull back the curtain, and the guy's running some kind of weird crap out of his house. And I don't disagree with the FBI taking a good look-see at what's going on up there.
Yeah, no, and add to all that, I guess there was a tape in Arizona when there was looting going on in the streets or something in shops, and he was in there. Now he's saying that he was just there documenting what was going on, but the police are saying that he was involved in the actual looting. So, and by the way, these looters, not the good people that are out marching, but the agitators in the crowd, of which they say maybe he was just a looter, but
well, we've talked about that
tracking them down one by one the best they can. So, you know, a knock on your door could happen at any time if you did that.
Right.
And it's kind of scary.
Yeah. You know, when I get knocks on my door here,
do you answer?
Walt, the neighbor, looking for a brat or some free beer.
Yeah, but no, you have the charming thing of kids knocking on your door and asking for M&Ms, right?
Or the neighbor kids looking for candy from Uncle Jack, which is a whole other issue that I prefer to sidestep. And in fact, I have, because, you know, I'm a nice person. The kids always, you know, I don't think their families feed them, to be honest. So I once gave the kids some candy. Next thing you know, like a squirrel every day. The son of a
knock?
Yeah. Well, they climb over the little railing. They don't even knock. I go, bro, get out of here. Uncle Jack's smoking his cigar, drinking his beer, watching his Kenny Chesney music, and the kids climbing over the fence.
You're having a little brandy and a cigar, and then all of a sudden the kid wants some M&Ms.
Right. And I was doing it, and then I realized that A, it's every day and it's too much, and I think the parents might have even gotten mad. And B, it's a little cliche that the older fella down the street is handing out candy to the kids.
But I mean, I know Chrissy, your wife, she loves this.
We love it. Well, because, you know, our kids are grown, and it's fun to give the kids, and they, you know, sometimes they'll talk and you get a little funny, you know, kid out of it. But I don't need somebody knocking on my door saying, "Hey, Jack, are you the man with the M&Ms and the cigars?"
Happy Halloween 24/7.
Right. All right. So anyway, so Jake Paul, whatever he is,
whatever,
he needs to chill. But, you know, house parties, Paul, that's another thing that, you know, as part of the COVID, we've talked about, well, one of the main things we talked about were the Karens and the people that were using all this pent up energy in a bad way. And now it seems like people are using house parties to totally sidestep what we really should be doing: wear masks, social distancing, and washing your hands. And like, check this one out. This was from the other day, somewhere in the Hollywood Hills. Had a little, had a little dust up there.
Yeah. No, look at that party. You're right. That was a Mulholland, I think, or somewhere. But that party, the police were aware of it, but they couldn't do anything because nothing was really going on. There's not really a law at this point that says in your own house, you know, you can't do that. But at the same time, that turned into an event where, like, 4 a.m, there were shots fired, and the police ended up going in anyway and doing that.
Oh yeah, no. So first and foremost, that party was, I think held in honor of somebody getting signed a pro NFL contract.
Yeah.
So you're breaking the rules, and you're going up there, and no one's wearing masks.
Yeah.
And you're partying, and you're, you know, blah blah blah. But my favorite part of the story, and it happens all the time, whenever you read these stories, and you said it was at 4 a.m. What I read was at right around 12:45 a.m. shots rang out.
Oh, yeah, 12:45.
12:45. So I've always said, not a lot of good things happen after midnight.
I always tell my kids that.
Yeah.
I say nothing good happens after midnight.
And certainly when you keep going, 2 a.m., 4 a.m., you're asking for trouble. So
You're right.
the thing that really has happened now that I think, and I don't want to be the "you kids get off my lawn" guy.
But you are that guy.
Well, I know. Well, I can't help it. Somebody's got to say, "Hey, you fellas, we're gonna take matters into our own hands." And it seems like the LA DWP is involved. Is that what you were telling me?
Yeah, they're going to now, because there was just another party last night, another huge party. The news copters caught the house packed with people. Big party. It was a wedding.
Yeah.
But they had gone off. And so now the mayor came out and said that he's going to be cutting off water and power if these people violate again. To any house that does that, they're going to be, maybe for 3 months. You know what that's like, being that without water and power, you're done.
Well, I think that's a good penalty to do that.
Yeah.
And also, I think that one house where the shots rang out, those people didn't live there.
Oh.
It was an Airbnb type deal.
Okay.
They rented the house. And imagine you're a neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was Beverly Crest, which is like really rich people, big mansions, big executives, media executives, moguls, movie stars.
Yeah.
Imagine you live in this beautiful, quiet little neighborhood, and then all of a sudden your neighbor rents the house out to an unruly group of people.
Right.
And next thing you know, shots are being fired in Beverly Crest. I mean, that's insane. So, well, it goes back to the original point. Can we just not be selfish for X period of time so that we can move on one day and then have all the freaking parties you want, Paul?
I would love that. And I mean, I think that we've got different countries now that have proven, Italy and these different countries proven, Europe in general, that you can do this if you all pull together, wear your masks, and then get rid of this thing. The good news is there's Moderna and Pfizer, these companies are testing now already vaccines.
Yeah, they think there might be some vaccines by September or October.
Yeah,
which would be huge. Which would be huge. So just be patient. Hey, no one likes to party.
No.
In Beverly Crest more than Jack Silver.
No, you and your cigars and your.
Well, as long as the party ends by about 8:30, quarter to 9, because I'm an early riser.
Yeah.
And I'm early to bed.
There you go. That's fine.
But I'll party till 9:15 if I have to, 9:30.
That's right.
But in time, when the time is right, then we.
Time is right. You go to bed. That's not a bad thing.
All right. So, all right. So that's that. And again, to remind everybody, even though if you've been watching the Producers Podcast, he's Paul Joseph, Jack Silver,
right here,
and we're running through a couple of good topics. We try to wrap this.
Yeah,
the thing wrap it up in 40 minutes.
Yeah,
what?
The thing that got me was you had brought up the guy that took the personal loan.
Oh, okay, right. Well, that's another sidebar of the COVID-19 epidemic.
Right.
The government has done a pretty good job in trying to help people who need it.
I think
whether it's unemployment, whether it's the extra $600 that I guess ended at the end of July.
Hopefully they're getting that back.
That'd be good. Or these PPP loans, which are personal something. We should have looked up what PPP actually stands for.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
It's to help businesses. It's for
to help businesses.
Yes, to help businesses move forward. Yeah. So that's great. So if you've got a small business and you need some help from the government to personal payroll protection or something.
Yeah.
That's great.
Close.
And that way you can take care of your employees, keep them working, keep them getting a paycheck. And that's great. But it appears there's been a few scofflaws, that's the word, couple of a-holes who kind of skirted the system, Paul.
It sounds like it. I mean, this dude got a $4 million loan.
Right.
I think his name's David Hines. Went out with the money. He's supposed to pay his payroll. He's got a pretty good company, obviously, to get a $4 million loan. And look what he bought. He went out with the money and bought that Lamborghini that's behind him there.
Yeah.
And that put him back. I think when they checked his account, because they figured out after he bought that he was using the money for his own means, he had like $3,400,000 left.
Yeah.
So he's spending away free money and not really taking care of his employees or his business.
Well, I did a little producer research.
Yeah.
And evidently he doesn't even have a company. He scammed that thing.
The whole thing was scammed.
Well, most of it, again, as usual, a producer, I just skimmed the highlights. I didn't
Yeah.
really read it
Yeah.
because, you can't read. There's too many words,
Oh,
on a page. But no, they showed the ledger.
Yeah.
So he had, Mary Jones got paid X, so and so. Mom, 15,000.
Mom.
And I don't think mom works there.
I doubt it.
And there, by the way, there's no there to work. He's just,
so he created the whole thing was a ruse. The whole
I think the whole thing was a ruse.
Wow.
And look, as bad as this is,
Yeah.
And by the way, he was stopped, a traffic stop, because he wasn't wearing a mask, and he went off on the old "I'm not going to wear a mask" thing.
Sure.
But as bad as that is it, Paul? Do you think it's incumbent on the government to maybe take a little closer look at some of the ways these PPP loans are being handed out?
I do. And I mean, like you said, I think they've done a good job of helping a lot of businesses and keeping them afloat and a lot of people with the money.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I know that when it comes to something as horrific as we're going through, it's so hard to investigate everything because they're trying to help people. So they're getting the money out there. So these types of things are going to happen where some idiot takes money that could go to somebody else that really needs it and creates a company and gets himself $4 million and buys a Lamborghini. I mean, he's a fool. I think those things are always going to slip through the cracks. No matter what we do, I think they're always going to slip through. But yeah, maybe take a little closer look at companies that are getting that kind of money before you hand it out and say, at least verify through tax returns that they have, 25 employees that need help and that
get paid a certain amount of money,
X amount of dollars.
And by the way, I agree with everything you just said.
Yeah.
The government's overloaded. They're trying everything they can. It's also incumbent upon that jerk off. Sorry,
Right.
Is that a bad word? It probably is, but
it's all right.
it's all right.
It fits him.
But it fits the guy. It fits. And if you're
Yeah.
that kind of person that's going to take advantage of a global pandemic to get and by the way, to get a Lamborghini.
Right.
I mean, look, if you skim, not to go all Joe Pesci on you, but if you skim a couple of bucks off the top, I'll meet you halfway, Paul. But, and by the way, speaking of Joe Pesci, and if you watch any of the movies, Goodfellas or Casino, they always say, lay low. If you're gonna steal $4 million, bro, how about you get a Chevy Tahoe?
How about that?
And no one would be the wiser.
Yeah,
But
little
you got
electric Volt or something and drive that around.
Right. But no, you got to be Mr. Badass, and you go get a Lamborghini, and you're driving 100 miles an hour down the street
with no mask and just having a ball, and $3.4 million in your bank account. None of that belongs to you.
Well, and to tie a bow around this little topic is the fact that I certainly hope that between, the PPP loans being extended, I think they're going to do another round of stimulus.
Yeah,
which I think will help, and it should help beauty salons and gyms and
That's
bars and restaurants and concerts, and that's where the money should go.
I agree, and I think there's a way to do that. People are adjusting now, and we have to look at it like this year is over.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't think anything. There's not going to be schools opening. It's going to be online. Oh. I just heard that collegiate football now, basically
college football.
away.
Well, yeah, I read UCLA had 8 players, and they're in jeopardy. I think the University of Connecticut.
Yep.
They've suspended their season in college.
It's going to all like dominoes. That's going to fall. I feel sadly, but I don't think they can do it. So I think college sports in general, till the first of the year, is gone. Sadly, there are some things. The PGA is opening up. Tiger Woods is back.
Yeah.
Tennis is going on, but some of the big stars aren't going to come. Yeah. Nadal's not coming. Federer is not coming. So, but all that being said, I think we have to adjust to the fact that we're not going to get much between now and the end of this year.
Well, thanks for ending things on a downer. Let me give you.
No, I don't want to. I've got something here that's going to bring you up, because this is.
Well, here's a cute picture of a very nice couple. They're celebrating their 25th wedding anniversary this week. Yeah. I mean, honestly, Paul, you haven't aged a bit. You haven't lost one bit of hair.
Thank you. Yeah, well, the hair's still there.
June looks amazing. So happy anniversary. So how are we going to wrap this bad boy up, big boy?
Okay, well, talking about money being given out and all that stuff, lottery
Ah,
This guy I'm amazed at. I want to do a shout out to Thomas Cook, who won $22 million in a
cool.
Wisconsin Powerball.
Yeah.
And he had made a promise with a friend going back 28 years to 1992. He said, if either one of us ever win a lottery, we'll split it. So he made that promise. It'd be like you and I saying 28 years ago, if you and I, and that we're going to split a lottery. Well, he hit it 2 weeks ago.
Got it.
22 million bucks. He called his friend up, whose name is Joe Feeney. And he said, Joe, this is Thomas. How you doing? He said, remember that thing we talked about? I'm going to share my money with you, or you're going to share yours with me. He said, you're $11 million richer.
No way.
On the phone, told him that.
Wow.
Yeah. $11 million richer.
So are you asking, Paul, this is like a passive aggressive way, if you and I made a pact 22 years ago,
yeah,
and the same scenario,
yeah,
and you play the California lottery,
right,
and you won,
mm-hmm.
would you share it with me?
No.
Okay, the podcast is over. I've never really liked you, and our friendship is BS. No.
By the way, on that note, so you win. I did a little homework briefly, and we can close after this. But $11 million. Say you win $11 million.
Yeah.
You only get 5.7 of that. The rest is taxes. Like on $1 million.
Yeah.
$1 million cash.
Yeah.
This is how it breaks down. You get. You end up with $375,000 after all the taxes and fixings are done.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of outrageous that you win $1 million, you walk away with $375,000.
Well, it really is. But and just to clarify,
yeah,
had I won, the 22 million, you see a pair of glasses and a whoosh noise
and a spinning chair,
and the chair
with nobody in it.
It'd be like this.
Yeah,
just be spinning around. And that's all you see.
That's it. And where's Jack? Where'd he go?
No, Jack who? Because that's but you know what? Unlike the idiot who ripped off the PPP thing for the Lamborghini, you got to applaud those guys from Wisconsin for doing that and keeping their deal intact.
Yeah. I really do. I tip my hat. His name's Thomas Cook.
Yeah, hell of a story.
Gave his friend Joe Feeney half of his $22 million. I mean, shout out to him. He some kind of guy.
Well, Paul, I am absolutely spent.
Yeah, we've worked hard.
This is hard work.
Hard work.
I think it's a good way to wrap things up. And one thing we want to tell the listener, the viewer, that you should subscribe to the Producers Podcast.
Yes.
You should download it anywhere you get your podcasts.
Yep.
You should write reviews and tell people about it.
Yep.
And
spread the word.
Spread the word, people.
Yeah. And leave us comments.
Yeah.
What you like, what you don't like, whatever.
Right. And preferably no profanity. The profanity, but good job, and we'll work on some guests for the future. And let's wrap this bad boy up, huh?
You have a good day.
You do the same.